Today we're talking about breakups. Now I can't begin to imagine what your specific details are in breakups you've had before or in any that you're going through right now. So what I'm going to do is take a general approach here. Now this video is going to be broken up into two parts, and in the third part I'm going to give you three big takeaways that you can have in order to learn and leverage and level up from your relationship. Now bear with me because the audio here has a lot of water in the background, but I guarantee if you just stick around for about 30 seconds, you'll get used to it and you can hear just fine. Hey guys, today we're talking about when someone walks away from a relationship, what it means. Now, of course, we all have our own individual reasons, all right? And so what I'm gonna do here is walk through a few of the reasons why someone may walk away and how it relates to you, because their actual reasons for why they wanna leave a relationship, we'll never know, we can never know, and even they themselves might not know. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna share with you 2 points of view, okay? What we're gonna do to start is I'm gonna share a vision of how I view relationships unfolding, the beginning and the end and everything in between, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you three perspectives that we can look at a relationship from. One of them is going to be just on a personal level as a human being with a mind, with the emotions that we have. Next, we're going to look at the law of attraction. And then third, we're going to look at this from a soul level. Now, I encourage you to just pick the parts of this that vibe with you, okay? Because a lot of people aren't going to vibe with talking about the sole purpose of why a relationship existed and certainly why it ended. Because I'm sure that if you're watching this, you are either contemplating ending a relationship or you're wondering why your partner may be ending or has ended their relationship. And so there's a lot of pain, okay? Now, this is a topic that I'm really passionate about right now because I'm currently going through this myself. Now, it's interesting to me how clients I work with and people who just know my content are seeking this kind of advice just at the time when I'm going through this as myself too. So I'm very acutely tuned in to these ideas, all right? Now the first thing I'm going to share with you is, besides this beautiful landscape behind me, which is Catawba Falls, I'm going to share with you an idea that is highlighted by some of the great spiritual teachers that I have learned from and that I like to follow, okay? Now, these teachers are Jesus, the Buddha, and Eckhart Tolle, all right? Now, I want you to imagine for a second that there is a lava lamp, okay? Now, this is how I picture life. This is how I picture a relationship. Now, attachment to any form is not being present by definition, okay? Now, here's what I mean by that. And then I'm going to explain what these spiritual teachers might say about the flow of a relationship. So imagine a lava lamp and that you and your partner are the substance. You are the lava that's in there, okay? And you spin and you blob over this way and you create a beautiful shape and you sink and you rise and everything in between. Now notice how no matter what shape you take in your relationship, it's always changing. The lava lamp is always changing. And so Jesus taught non-resistance. Now, non-resistance to what is, okay? Now, how does that tie in with the other teachers? It ties in very well because if we take it into the power of now, which is the teaching by Eckhart Tolle, he teaches that if you look at how the lava lamp is changing, right? Let's say that it represents your relationship and there is a moment of intense beauty and intense bliss where you guys are in love and everything is amazing. The honeymoon phase maybe. It's just a place where you're content in the relationship. And that represents a shape. Maybe it makes this beautiful shape, okay? And it lasts for a moment. And then it changes as the nature of the universe changes. As you both grow and change as individuals, your relationship changes as well, right? And so if you loved and cherish that moment that you had and it changes and you wish that you could go back and no, just let me hang on for a little bit. That was so good. Don't change, please. I just want it to be the way that it was. It's futile. You can't do that, right? So that would be living in the past. Living in the future would be, I don't like the way our relationship is. I don't like the way this is structured, the way it feels. I don't like this shape. I wish it were different. I wish it would be this shape instead. And that's living in the future. Now, what the Buddha taught on that is that you have an expectation of how it should be in the future, or how it should be based off of what you had in the past. And anytime that you have an expectation of how it should be, an attachment to it, that is the path to suffering. And that is why you hurt right now if you've gone through a breakup. Because you have an idea of how the relationship should be. Either you were moving to, and this is what happened in my case, all right, is that we had an idea for where our relationship could go. And we're moving towards it, We think we're moving towards it. And our focus is so far ahead of where we think we are that we're working on problem number 10. We're working on building number 9 and 10 before we've allowed the current situation to even exist as it is. And so it's frustrating. It's frustrating, right? And so I want to encourage you that even if your relationship has ended, that the pain and the suffering that comes with that isn't you. That is the mind you, okay? That is your ego, that is your emotion, that is your mind. Now, that doesn't help at all. When you're in a place of pain, that sucks to hear, right? But I want you to imagine for a moment that you're completely present to the moment. You're doing a meditation that is amazing, a 20-minute meditation where you're totally just zoom, just in the moment, just zen, right here. Now, in that moment, if you could achieve that, would this really matter? If you were enlightened for that moment, in that moment, would this really matter? And this is what's meant by non-resistance, okay? Accepting what is now. And the pain that you're feeling is coming from missing what you had or the loss of what you think you have in the future. Now, those are very real, and we're going to get into this. This is the second part of this video, okay? But I want you to imagine, I'll summarize this here, that ball inside of the lava lamp is always changing, and to resist that is futile. It's the nature of the universe. It's a lovely thing. And so when the two of you separate, the pain is only an illusion. It still is the relationship. Now you're contained within the glass that is the lava lamp, right? Nothing has changed. You're still in there. The love doesn't go away. It's still inside of there. It just changed form. And maybe later down your life, you're going to use this as leverage. You're going to meet someone else who is even a better match for you. Something is going to change in your life. You're going to move away because it's too painful, and it'll open all these new doors. Whatever it is, the love didn't go away. It changed form. And so when it separates and changes form, to wish that it were other than it is the definition of how you're going to suffer. So in order to help you through this, I first want to encourage you to just be open to the idea that your life and your relationship that you just had is okay in the place that it is right now. Just because it ended doesn't mean that it really ended. That person's influence in your life is always here. Your love that you have for them doesn't have to be taken away. It doesn't mean anything was a waste. You are where you are now because of that. Okay, now let's get into part number 2 of this video. I'm going to talk about the 3 levels that we can come at this from, okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about here is how the breakup relates to you just being a normal person with your heart being broken right now and what it means. Now, if you try to figure out what happened, this is what's going to happen, all right? You're not going to understand because the two of you don't mean to be assholes to each other. You don't mean for it to fall apart. Everybody thinks that they're making the best decision. The shirt that you're wearing right now, you bought it because you thought it was a good decision. The meal that you had it because you thought it was a good decision. If it was healthy, great. If it wasn't, you thought it was a good decision to indulge in the comfort. We always think that we're making good decisions. We don't deliberately make a bad decision. And so to try to understand why your partner would make a bad decision, or why you made a bad decision to either be in that relationship or not do better, is futile. You're not going to be able to understand why you didn't do better because you couldn't have done better. So I want to encourage you to just be easy on yourself throughout this process. If you try to get into your partner's head and understand why they did what they did, it's a losing game. You're never going to be able to. And so once again, this is number one, right? And this brings us back to the teaching that we just talked about, which is non-resistance. If you don't accept what your partner has been doing, how they've been acting, and the fact that they have maybe even walked away, if you don't accept that is what it is, okay? It doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean you're happy because of it. It's just accepting that it happened and not trying to change it. Oh, it's a tough pill to swallow because it's uncomfortable and we want to change it. But this is exactly your moment to ground yourself. This is non-resistance. This is the path. This pain that you have, this pain that I have right now, I know this is the doorway that is opened to a step further into enlightenment. This is the path to embrace it, because life isn't about just the top moments. It's not about being just happy and just joyful all the time, because joy and love and fun, they don't exist in the absence of their polar opposite. We wouldn't know what it meant, right? And so this is the opposite. And it's okay. You can even enjoy. Now, that sucks, right? You can enjoy the process of being fucking hurt, of being in pain. Now, this isn't a masochistic kind of thing. This isn't enjoy pain. That's not what this means. This means the pain is there to leverage you into a new chapter of your life. What I just said is that this pain can be used as leverage to get you to change, okay? Well, let's talk about this from the law of attraction point of view, okay? This will make a lot of sense to you right now. So this is a take-home point for law of attraction. Now, what we just talked about is the leverage. The pain can be used as leverage, okay? Here's what that means. It means that if you're on your path and you start to stray, the way you're going to know you're straying is because it's not going to feel good. You're not going to be in the flow. It's not going to feel easy. It's not going to feel rewarding. You just know that it's not your path, okay? So what you can do is the universe, we have free will. You can do whatever you want. You can go off your path as much as you want. But because love is the only thing that exists, you have a strong soul pull to be existing in love more than you do existing in pain. Now, the purpose of pain is to create the contrast, to pull you back into a deliberate decision to choose love. So I think of it as a rubber band, okay? The pain that you're having right now is the rubber band has been stretched very far, very far. And it will continue to be stretched more and more and more. And you can suffer and you can wallow, and it's good, it's okay. You should stretch that rubber band. You should stretch it, keep going. Indulge. This is what I mean by indulge in the pain. Allow it to create that momentum until you know that without a shadow of a doubt that you must change. And you use that momentum, and this is this rubber band, to turn 180 degrees and slingshot upwards, slingshot forward in your life. Now here's how you can avoid this in the future. This is a great lesson for you if you're going through pain of a breakup. You don't have to go through the pain. If you're already in the pain, if this has already happened, it's like Abraham Hicks talks about, if you jump out of a plane and you forget to put your parachute on when you're 10 feet off the ground, it's too late. But next time you jump, next time you're in a relationship, here's what you can do, is when you feel yourself being pulled into, when this tension is being created, you don't have to ride it out to the end. As soon as you feel the pull, boom, change, get back on your path, boom, this way. Now, I can't tell you what that means. Sometimes it means cutting a relationship early. Sometimes it means stopping a destructive behavior or habit that you have. Sometimes it means changing your career. Sometimes it means taking care of your body so you can show up for your partner in a certain way. That I can't tell you. But I know that this is the teaching, this is the Buddhist teaching of discrimination. Early discrimination. This is exactly what it means. When you're on your path and you start to get pulled off your path, at the first sign, this is the sign of a mature soul. Okay? And I don't claim to be a mature soul because this is fucking hard, okay? When you start getting pulled off of your path, as soon as you feel the pull, you cut it. Boom, back on your path. Boom, back on your path. So I'm going to ask you a question. I've been to a bunch of Tony Robbins seminars, right, where he inevitably asks the question of how many of you have been in a relationship where you knew it was done far before it ended and you stuck around anyway? Raise your hand. All the hands go up. All the hands go up. Why is this such a human quality that we stick around for so long? This is law of attraction, right? We're being pulled. Our emotions are telling us this isn't right, but we stick around. And the reasons we stick around, there are many, right? I'm not going to get into the minutia of the reasons why. But when you have that subtle feeling of I should leave and you don't, whatever the reason is, I love them. I'd be scared to leave them. What about the children? Or if you're married, it's too difficult. What about the finances? What about the house? It's just too difficult. Or you're scared to be alone. Or you're scared to lose them. It's fear-based. It's fear-based. And so if your relationship has recently ended, I want you to tap into what fear did you have that existed leading up to this breakup? What were you not doing in the relationship, or what were you allowing into the relationship that now that it's over, you really wish you hadn't done, or you really wish you hadn't allowed into the relationship? You really wish you didn't, and you knew it at the time, but you didn't take whatever action was needed because there was fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of investing in your relationship for so long and having it be a waste. Now, it's not a waste, but it sure as fuck feels like a waste. So I want you to examine that. What was the fear that kept you there? Now, we always have to look at the counter argument, right? So what's the counter argument to that? There was no fear. This is bull. I don't know why it happened. Everything was great and they just walked out and I have no idea why. Okay. Although that may be true in some cases, what is it that you were missing? What is it that you weren't tuned into that was going on between the two of you? What is it that you were unaware of that your partner was feeling? That this could blindside you? Where was the communication lacking so that you could have known? Or where was the boundary set for you so that you have a partner who will communicate with you? Maybe they didn't communicate. Maybe they were very good at hiding things and you just didn't know. But why are you with a person who acts like that? What is it about that that has attracted you to them? Okay, and the final way that we're going to talk about making sense of a breakup is on the level of the soul. Now, this is the one that resonates with me the most. And I'm not sure if this will resonate with you or not, but I'm going to share this with you. Imagine for a moment that, okay, I want you to think about this, the way society views relationships, okay? Now, that's kind of a blanket statement, and I certainly don't mean everybody. And what I've noticed is that this is changing. But in my upbringing, just watching movies and being a young adult in school, the idea that I had in my head is that the goal, it's like, you know, you go to school, you go to college, you meet someone, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, you retire, you die of old age. That's the American story, right? And we all know that that doesn't work so well in practice anymore. But this is the story that we're familiar with. So the idea is that the purpose of dating is to be finding the one person. The one. Oh yeah, my soulmate, right? So if you're dating someone and it doesn't work out, you should cut it because it's a waste of time and get on to the next person. And until you find the right one, and then it's amazing. And if it doesn't work out, it sucks because it meant all that time was wasted and you're back to square one. Now the way I view that is complete bullshit. On the level of the soul, I want you to listen to this one line right here, okay? Different people are right for you at different points in your life. So just as your first boyfriend or girlfriend allowed you to grow to a place where you were able to meet your second or third or your current partner, just as you wouldn't have been the same person you are to meet your current partner if you hadn't had those previous experiences, each person along the way was your ideal match for what you needed in that time. And you were their ideal match. It's a beautiful thing. And you grow together, and you grow together until your individual paths need to do something else. And so when the bond breaks off, it's not a waste. It was a beautiful thing. You helped each other get to where you are. So different people are right for you at different points in your life, which means that they're also not right for you at different points in your life. So if you can acknowledge that you've grown, that you've learned even one thing in your relationship that just ended, if you've learned even one thing in it, it was absolutely worth it. Because you are on your journey. Now here's the beautiful part that's hard to hear when you're in pain. But the pain that you're in right now, if you can learn even one thing from it, and if you can become just a slightly better person for it, it was worth it. It was worth it. And it was a gift that you never would have had if the relationship continued.
I want to tell you guys about a new program that's launching. You can find a link in the description here. Go ahead and click on it. It's going to bring up a page that's going to give you 3 options for the Unstoppable Relationship Program. Now, there's a new option that I'm offering, which is a 6-week program where you're going to be able to get one-on-one coaching calls, and you're going to get 6 weeks of every week a new training that's delivered in a group format. You're going to be able to ask questions, get feedback, and get unlimited support through email and private Facebook group as well. Check that out here. Enrollment is starting in about a week. We're gonna run enrollment for a couple of weeks, so you sign up early, you get a big discount. Check the link below. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. Talk to you soon.